Crawford, Canelo Alvarez are apparently in talks for a rematch in 2026, and my only question is why? Why? Outside of a massive fight wasn't necessarily a competitive fight, and if they do it again, I think it's going to be less competitive. I don't think this is going to go very well. For one, Saul
Canelo Alvarez, even after being thoroughly dismantled in September, refuses to face reality. He has been persistent and vocal, insisting that he wants another fight with Terence Crawford, convinced that a fully healthy arm could change history. Canelo ignores repeated warnings from experts. From Eddie Hearn to Antonio Margarito, the message is consistent. Canelo is past his prime and physically unable to chase Crawford effectively. This isn't merely a risky rematch. It's a career-threatening gamble. Should Canelo step back into the ring, he risks walking directly into the potential end of his professional career.
Well, it looks like it's the end of an era. Canelo Alvarez spoke about his retirement plans and has confirmed that the end is near and that his time inside the ring is coming to an end relatively soon. Canelo Alvarez said that he is now in the stage wherein he's also thinking a lot about how he wants to focus as well as enjoy the fruits of his labor, not just for himself but for his family as well. The Mexican fighter who made his professional boxing debut at the age of 15 years old and has been professionally fighting for almost 20 years now said the following, and I quote, "From the age of 28 to 29, this is the age where I have felt best. I've always said that at 37 years old is a good age to enjoy what I have done with my family, other things in my career, and that's what I say. But I said I would debut at 18 and I did it at 15. End of quote.
The starkest warning comes from someone inside Canelo's own circle, promoter Eddie Hearn. While promoters usually hype any fight that generates money, Hearn has been unusually candid about why this particular matchup is a disaster for the Mexican superstar. Hearn recently revealed the truth that Canelo's camp has tried to keep under wraps for years. They knew long ago that Crawford's style would be particularly problematic. According to Hearn, Canelo isn't just facing a superior boxer, he is facing his stylistic kryptonite. Crawford's lateral movement and switch-hitting abilities were always going to neutralize Canelo's power. It wasn't merely a bad night. It was a fundamentally bad matchup. Hearn suggested that Canelo's refusal to accept the biological reality that his knees and feet can no longer keep pace with his vision is blinding him to the real danger looming in a rematch.
I believe they have a rematch clause. I'm not sure exactly. I mean, I'm sure there's some kind of wording because Canelo doesn't enter a fight without some kind of wording in terms of rematch clause. But he's just not going to beat Terence Crawford. It's the style's all wrong for him, the movement's all wrong for him. And that's what I said, you know, going into the fight, I really believe Crawford would win in the style that he did. And then just as it got a bit closer at the weigh-in, I was like, my heart was like, nah, Canelo's got this, you know. And but deep down, I kind of knew that it was all wrong for him. And to be honest with you, Canelo knew it was all wrong for him. You know, I had the conversation with Canelo Alvarez probably, I don't know, a year ago, about Terence Crawford. And he was like, nah, why would I fight Terence Crawford? Like, you know, he hates that style. And when he fought Charlo, I remember him being really disappointed that Charlo just moved and moved and moved. And that's why he ended up fighting Munguia and Berlanga, because they're guys that wouldn't do that and they'd stand in front of him. And that suits him down to the ground. Anyone that's got movement like Skull, like Crawford, like, you know, he really struggles against. And when he was a bit younger and fresher, he could probably get away with it and cut it off. And, you know, but then you see guys like Bivol and, you know, Crawford and these guys beat him because of that movement. And I don't know what he does again. I mean, you know, the biggest money fight out there for him is the rematch with Crawford.
Analysts are now openly discussing the physical decline. Sports Illustrated and Fan Nation narratives emphasize that this isn't just a case of Canelo losing, it's a complete tactical dismantling at the hands of Crawford. The brutal focus is on Canelo's knees. After nearly 20 years in the sport, deteriorating knee cartilage has left him flat-footed and slow. In his prime, Canelo could cut off the ring with explosive angles and relentless pressure. Against Crawford in late 2025, he appeared to be moving through molasses. Experts warn that worn-out joints cannot be corrected in a single training camp. Crawford, moving with the speed and agility of a track star, spent the first fight methodically keeping Canelo off balance, making him miss and pay for every misstep. The consensus is painfully simple. Canelo can no longer move quickly enough to land the single decisive punch required to win.
I mean, is it dangerous to Canelo's legacy to lose to the best of this era and the best of the era previously? I don't know. Like, did Canelo ever have an era where he was the best in the world? Maybe that's the question he's still trying to answer himself, and why he would want this rematch with Crawford. But when I see this news coming out of him wanting the rematch, having the elbow surgery, maybe in his mind going, okay, my elbow wasn't fresh, I wasn't able to turn my shots over, so that's why I can win this rematch. I like the competitive nature of it. I don't like the fight for him. I think the matchup's all wrong for Canelo. I think this style of fight, in terms of what Terence Crawford does well, is counterpunching off the front and back foot, his ability to go from range with his jab, be inside with it too, protect himself, catch counter with punches. He's got just a different timing than Canelo really has on his punches, and then you pair it with the volume that Terence Crawford can throw, and his feet and his angles. This is the bad matchup for Canelo. We've seen it already, and I just don't know if the rematch goes any differently. I think Terence Crawford would have Canelo in real trouble the second time around. And again, I'm not going to sit here and be like, he'd knock him out cold, because Canelo's got an iron chin, but if he didn't already in the first fight, he would do a number. Texas Instruments 83 plus on Canelo if they rematch. I truly believe that, because I think the matchup's all wrong. I think that both guys learned something about the other in that fight, and the guy that took more away as far as data and things to use was Terence Crawford, because what Canelo brought was the best version of him, and it wasn't enough. And if Terence brought the best version of him and it was enough, because I think both guys brought their best version, but the fight played out how the styles will always match up. Canelo is best when a guy will stand in front of him and go upper body movement, planted feet, let's fight exclusively in the phone book. Terence Crawford is at his best when he can dog walk someone, walk the dog on them literally, have them on a leash, walking around the ring, and then planting his feet, throwing, circling, feinting off the back foot, then coming back, counter punches. He has every tool in the shed. And I think skill-wise and stylistically,
If the physical limitations were not enough, former champion Antonio Margarito has delivered a prediction that should alarm Canelo. Margarito, familiar with the brutality of high-level wars in the ring, believes Crawford will have an even easier time in a second fight. His reasoning reflects what insiders call the solved puzzle theory. A master technician like Crawford, once familiar with an opponent's tendencies, rarely struggles with them again. Margarito explained that Crawford has already decoded Canelo's timing, feints, and power. There are no remaining surprises. Since Canelo cannot realistically reinvent his style at this stage of his career, he is essentially walking into a fight where Crawford anticipates every move before it happens.
¿Qué me dice de la gran pérdida que tuvo México ahorita ante Terence Crawford en parte de Canelo? Una pérdida muy dura para el boxeo mexicano, pero ¿qué piensa usted de eso? ¿Qué pasó ahí esa noche?
Sí, mira, realmente yo siempre lo he dicho, ¿no? Realmente, mira, yo siempre lo dije que Canelo pues aprendió mucho, y la verdad digo mis respetos, ¿no? Pero creo yo, sinceramente, pues que Canelo realmente pues escogían rivales para poder que se viera ganador él. Yo sé que arriba del ring no sabemos qué pueda pasar, ¿no? Pero realmente yo creo que no peleó con los mejores para mí, ¿no? Y realmente yo creo que Crawford pues tenía el estilo para ganarle, y sinceramente me han preguntado, y yo pienso realmente que en una revancha le gana más fácil Crawford a Canelo. Digo, desgraciadamente pues es mexicano, ¿no? Y haz de cuenta, a veces pues tengo problemas con los mexicanos, pero realmente yo es lo que yo pienso, ¿no? del boxeo de Canelo.
Yeah, Canelo is a good fighter, and he learned a lot. I knew it was going to be a tough fight, but I knew Crawford was going to win, and I was going for the Mexican because I'm Mexican, of course, but Canelo used to choose his fighters, but this time he couldn't do that.
In the rematch, he thinks Crawford can beat him easier, huh?
Yeah, I think it's going to be easier for Crawford to beat him.
Yeah.
The warnings are not only technical, but increasingly personal. Tensions between the two camps have escalated, particularly with Crawford's head trainer, Brian "Bomac" McIntyre. Bomac is not merely advising Canelo to stay away, he is issuing outright threats. Following the first fight, Bomac was captured on video yelling,